Today, I'm honored to introduce Cody Blois, Member of Parliament for Kings Hants. Since being elected in 2019, Cody has served as the Chair of the National Liberal Rural Caucus, Chair of the Nova Scotia Liberal Caucus, and a member of the House of Commons Standing Committee on Agriculture. He is committed to helping families and communities recover from the impacts of COVID-19 by continuing to work toward growing the local economy, creating new jobs, investing more in community infrastructure, and building a better future for people in Kings Hants. The Honorable Cody Blois.
Merci beaucoup, René, et bonjour tout le monde. J'espère que tout est bien. Je vous remercie de me donner l'occasion de parler aujourd'hui à propos des opportunités qui existent pour votre secteur, le secteur de la biomasse maintenant et dans le jour à venir pour générer de l'énergie, de l'électricité et de la chaleur. Bien sûr, René a dit, je suis le fier député de Kings Hants. Ma circonscription est une place où la foresterie joue un rôle important dans notre économie. Et j'étais donc particulièrement enthousiaste à l'idée de participer à cette conférence avec vous. Et en plus de mon rôle de député, je suis le président du caucus rural libéral. And so with that, Renee, to Gord, thank you to Wood Pellets Association of Canada, and of course to all the participants for joining here today. You know, I know this is the first Maritime conference, and I know and I'm excited about the opportunities that already currently exist in the work that you're going to be doing in the days ahead. And I would say this, I always joke, parliamentarians, although there are some very good ones and we are specialists in some regard, I always joke that we are pancake thin, a mile wide. And so Gord, to you, to Jamie, to Renee, thank you for reaching out to me originally, and I know there was other members as well, to engage us on the opportunities that exist for wood pellets, particularly around end-use fuel switching under the clean fuel standards. I think sometimes we're always aware of what goes on in our backyard, but it's important for that to be reinforced, and I know we're excited about the opportunities that exist in the days ahead. Renee, you touched upon it. Governments around the world right now are focused on how to be able to meet the Paris Climate Target Accords. Here in Canada, we have a goal now of being 40 to 45% below our emissions by 2030 than what we were by 2005. And you see the investments that the government is making. We have policy changes. There's been investments on the net accelerator, for example, $3 billion in budget 2021. But I know it's the clean fuel standard in particular, where I think there is a tremendous opportunity. Renee, you touched upon this. Right now in Atlantic Canada, we are disproportionately behind the curve, frankly, in terms of the adoption of home heating and fuels to be able to drive heat costs for consumers. In Nova Scotia, it's almost 50% of households are still on home heating oil. In Prince Edward Island, it's close to 75%. So there represents a tremendous opportunity, but perhaps also a tremendous challenge if we're not able to work and adopt the type of fuels that you and your sector represent. And again, it goes without saying that right now, our forestry sector, particularly, of course, lumber, is extremely strong. But we know that that can be cyclical in nature, and that the opportunity to use wood pellets as a natural byproduct of the process of creating lumber just helps to make our forestry sector even more robust in terms of different opportunities to use the entire value of the logs that are being taken in a sustainable and an important way. And of course, when we look at the life cycle analysis of wood pellets, there are tremendous opportunities to be able to transition away and be able to make sure that this is a renewable fuel that is helping us to be able to meet our emissions. And so I guess what I would say is I think those of us that have grown up in rural Canada, we have, of course, the idyllic memories of of using wood stoves to heat our homes. And I think of my own grandfather who did this in this way. And I think what my takeaway from the engagement I've had with Wood Pellets Association of Canada is this. Although, yes, of course, we still have the traditional wood stoves, the technology and innovation that exists in this sector, in this space, is tremendous. And this is not necessarily my grandfather's wood stove that we're talking about. We're talking about highly efficient, mechanized types of systems that are going to be available and are available, and we need to be continuing to drive that. Obviously, our export market is helping to satisfy energy-related challenges outside of Canada. We have to look at the opportunity that exists in our backyard. We have some work to do. I will be clear on that, particularly around the CFS, around some of the home energy programs. Your advocacy in this domain is not going unnoticed, and I speak for my colleagues that we are working on a way to make sure that your sector is going to be able to take advantage of these opportunities in the days ahead. And Renee mentioned, I sit on the House of Commons Standing Committee on Agriculture. Actually, we talked about this yesterday, and you can go and find it on the House of Commons website, talking about grain drying, for example, and that those types of activities are traditionally driven by propane or natural gas, and that the price on pollution, of course, rightfully so, is trying to transition away from fossil fuels. And actually, some of the expert testimony from Environment and Climate Change Canada was perhaps wood pellets can be an important offset to be able to continue that important activity, but do so in a more sustainable way. So I do know that there's people that are talking in this space, and I applaud the innovation and efforts that are going on for you guys as an industry to be able to drive in that direction. Les membres de notre caucus sont certainement conscients de l'importance de votre secteur, et je pense à des membres comme Diane Leboutillier à Gaspésie, René Arsenault à Madawaska, Serge Cormier, Pat Finnegan, Francis Drouin à Ontario, et Stéphane Lauzon, Will Amos, etc. We are aware of this, and my ask, I looked at some of the participant lists of who's here today. I know that our list does not just include maritime producers and stakeholders. It extends beyond that, particularly into Quebec. And I would encourage you, reach out to my colleagues, talk to them about the importance of this. We are having those internal discussions, and I will do my part on the other side to engage them and ask them to reach out to you. But the more that we can have the dialogue about the opportunities that exist for people to understand how we can help support your industry that matters to rural, that matters to the forestry sector across the country, is going to be very beneficial. So I'll leave it at that. Suffice to say, thank you for your work. Thank you to Wood Pellets Association of Canada and the stakeholders that are joining here today and have brought us all together to have these important conversations. I don't know if I can stay around for the entire conference, but I look forward to sitting in and listening. And I would say whether or not it's one of my colleagues that might be closer to you as a participant or myself, feel free to reach out to us, and we're happy to hear and do what we can to help. So thank you. I'll turn it back perhaps to you, Renee, but thank you for your guys' leadership in this regard.